Good day, welcome back to Greenman Wild Camping. So today it's Halloween, so this is going to be my Halloween special. So what we've got in store, well, we've got abandoned World War II ruins, an abandoned plague cemetery, and a bivvy camp in the sand dunes. That sounds like you come to the right place. Alright guys, so as you can probably tell by the native trees growing around me, I'm not in the UK, I'm not in Thailand, I'm actually in Western Australia, and I'm following these railway lines down through this bush. I'm about 10 kilometres south of Fremantle in Western Australia. So I'm going to keep following these old railway lines down through this bush, and hopefully I can find what I'm looking for. Alright, so coming up down here on the left, we've got the first clue. Look at that. So what is this? These are huge blast walls. So what they've done, they've built this big U-shaped blast wall structure. The other side of it's over here, look. And then in the middle there was once a building. I'm going to have a look inside. Obviously it's all collapsed. So what this place is, this entire area of bushland behind the sand dunes was once a huge powder magazine. So during World War I and then later on in World War II, they stored all the ammunition here for the Australian Army, and then it got shipped out overseas, I guess. Obviously it's quite isolated down here, so that's where they wanted to store all the explosives. The building's completely collapsed. Just all the timber frame and the floor left. But you can see the walls go all the way around it. So I'll keep walking down the line and see where else I can find. It's pretty cool. So this is a pretty intact one. So you can see the railway lines down here. And then you can see these big sandbag blast walls. It's like they've made sandbags with cement in, so it's all sort of set. Made this solid wall. I guess it's filled with sand in the middle. But there's no building in this one, it's completely demolished. I think there's asbestos everywhere. They probably had asbestos roofs, so I can see pieces of asbestos all over the floor. So I think they've cleared the actual old structure away once it collapsed. But I'm going to try and climb up one of these walls so we can have a bit of a look. Alright guys, so on top of the walls, bit of a look around. Some beautiful bushland around here. These big old tuart trees. Cool. Hear the birds singing. So these structures, I've counted like about 10 already. They're literally everywhere. The further you walk down the railway lines, the more you find. So this place must have been huge back in the day. Well guys, looks like I've come to the end of the line. So I need to, there's the old rail stop. I need to head down there and then cut through that bush. Somewhere in that bush over there is an abandoned cemetery. I've just got to try and find it. So it could be a while. So let's get cracking, see how we go. Righto. So I've left the railway behind. Now I'm walking on this fire trail, cutting through the bush. And I'm heading towards where I think the old cemetery is going to be. So if you're wondering why there would be an old cemetery in the middle of this bush, well apparently before this place was a powder magazine for the army. There used to be a quarantine station here. And I think in the early 1900s they had an outbreak of bubonic plague in Western Australia. And they quarantined the people down here in this quarantine centre. Obviously it's all gone now and it's all overgrown, but they buried the people in the bush. So before this bush was here, they buried, I don't know how many people they've buried here, but apparently there's some graves still here. I did a bit of research and apparently there are still some here. I'm not sure how many of them are marked and unmarked, but I've got to cut through here and see if I can find anything. Who knows, maybe I can't find them, but I'll give it a go. I'll bring you back soon. So here's a bit of a clue. You can see here, this old stone edging goes down there. This is an old road. So this is called the Plague Road. They had to build an old road connecting the coastal road to the quarantine station where these people were going. And I think this is it. It's like an old cobbled road. And heads off down here, so I'm presuming the old cemetery is going to be down here too. I'll bring you back. Alright people, I think we might have found it. I think that might be the marker for the boundary of the cemetery. So I'm presuming once we go in here, this is where they were burying people. Kind of crazy now, it's all overgrown, you can't imagine there's people buried here. Alright guys, some kind of memorial over here. Alright, so what this is the grave of a nurse. Okay. So she went to World War I, and then on the way home she caught the Spanish flu. On the ship, I guess, coming back to Australia. How sad is that? So she went all the way through World War I and then caught the Spanish flu on the way home, and they would have put her in the quarantine station and she must have passed away. Now she's buried here amongst all these trees. Kind of crazy, really. Yeah. Go for a walk down here. Oh yeah, there's more down here too. So I'm heading out of the cemetery now. Looks like most of the people in here, they died of the Spanish flu just after World War I. They must have quarantined them and they passed away and they buried them in here. So I think originally it was a plague cemetery for people that had the plague in the 1900s, and then later on in the Spanish flu they must have used it again and buried the people in here. So we've seen the World War II ruins, we've seen the abandoned cemetery. Let's head out to the sand dunes and see if we can set up camp, eh? Oh, bollocks. So I've been following the noise of the surf, getting close to the beach, come around the corner. There's a frigging barbed wire fence, I can't get out. It goes right down there. I can hear the waves, so the beach is just through there. There's a huge fence, so I've got to try and find a way to get through this fence. So I'll head down there and hopefully sooner or later I can get out, because I want to kind of wild camp tonight over there somewhere in them sand dunes. Finally, I found a gate to get through the fence. We're going to head through these sand dunes. So I'm walking that way. And hopefully when I get over this last sand dune, I should be able to show you the Indian Ocean. Let me turn the camera around for you. There she is, the Indian Ocean. Right, so I've reached the sand dunes. This is where I want to camp tonight. It's really, really windy. So I think I'm just going to chill out, have a cup of tea, and wait for this wind to die down a bit. I'll watch the sun go down, hopefully get the sunset, and hopefully the wind dies off a bit. I'll try and put the video up a little bit later, but at the moment it's just like blinding. sunset for a while and see what happens. There you go. There's the sunset. A few clouds in the way. The wind hasn't dropped, so I'm still kind of looking for somewhere to out of the wind. I'm going to walk down the beach a little bit and hopefully up in the sand dunes up here somewhere and set up there for the night, I think. See how we go. I'm not sure if you're going to hear me because the wind is so strong, but I'm thinking of setting up here behind this bit of a bush, giving myself a bit of shelter, and I don't know how I'm going to peg the bivvy down, but maybe I'll just put the bivvy down there and get my sleeping bag inside and try and sleep down here. At least I got a bit of shelter behind this bush here, so I'll see how I go. I think I'm in for a rough night. Morning guys. So the sun has come up and the wind's finally dropped off a bit. It's nice and calm. I didn't do any more filming last night. It was just too windy. It was like blowing a gale out there. I had to find somewhere to set the bivvy up and shit was blowing all over the place and you couldn't hear the sound anyway because the wind was just blowing too much. So I just quickly set up and got in the bivvy. I was getting sandblasted. There's sand blowing around everywhere. But it looks like it's all calmed down. The sun's just come up about 10 minutes ago. So I'll get out of bed now and I'll show you what my setup looked like. I'm not going to hang around this morning, guys. I've got a plane to catch. So I've got to sort of get up and get out of here. Well, looks like a nice day. So there's a shot of the Indian Ocean this morning. So the sun's just coming up. I'll give you a quick look around the bush where I was camping. So sand dunes and the beach at the front, and then there's like this bush at the back. There's the sun just come up over there, and the wind totally died down during the night, so that was really cool. But anyway, I'll show you my setup. So there was last night's camp in the sand dunes. That's my new Mountain Designs bivvy tent, which I might do a review on sometime. It's the first time I've used it today. And there's the Indian Ocean. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I had a few dramas last night. Camping on the sand dunes is not easy. I've got tons of sand inside the bivvy, as you can see. I put my foil mat down here, so I had something to stand on so I could get in the tent, but I've just got my sleeping bag inside. I had no time to put up the inflatable mat. The sand was just blowing around like crazy. So it was basically just take my shoes off and get in. But yeah, the bivvy was really good there. Just got the sleeping bag in there. I was nice and warm. And it got down to about 9 degrees last night, so it was pretty cool. So I didn't use the normal pegs that come with the bivvy. The sand is so deep and so soft, the pegs won't hold. I was lucky. I kind of thought this would happen. I had a couple of these huge big, we call them sand pegs. I had a couple of these at home, so I fetched a few along. Just use it to peg the guide ropes out on the bivvy, because the normal pegs just won't hold. So these pegs are really good. You can kind of push them into the sand and they hold pretty good. So I'm glad I fetched them along. If I didn't fetch them, I would have been in trouble really, because there's no way I could have sort of pegged it out. But all worked all right in the end. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I've got a plane to catch. I really need to get out of here, so I'm going to pack up my bivvy and head off. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the subscribe button. I'll try and post more regular from now on. So until next time, see you later.